in this case, I don't think that's what happened. It's there's no excuse of how it happened. There's no excuse from the Secret Service's side to can make it okay. Obviously, everybody wishes they could go back there with hindsight and get the comms right, mitigate that situation. And also what happens is when you come up and have the testimony she had, the problem with that is then the conspiracy people, because you're leaving a vacuum of information, and people
she didn't help with that.
No.
Yeah.
And you got to come out and you got to tell people, you got to be straight up with them. And so,
it is, I have to say, Mark, I'm someone who gets yelled at a lot in comment sections for being the devil's advocate against a lot of conspiracies.
Yeah.
They do exist.
Yeah.
I think the internet runs way too rampant with how widespread they think they are.
Yeah.
And I push back on that. Where I don't see good evidence, I'm going to push back every time. What I will say about this one, and let me be very clear on how I explain this as logically as I possibly can, is that when you see the number of breakdowns that happen, and when you hear some of the things that unfortunately I am not at liberty to discuss on camera that I have discussed with people who are close to the situation, it is impossible to not wonder how there is not some fucking turd in the punch bowl there in the communications to let this happen. Because let me elaborate on this.
Yeah.
I'm going to juxtapose two situations here. I'm going to juxtapose Kennedy against the Trump thing. Kennedy, there were a lot of people involved with that. They made sure they blew that guy's fucking head off 6 ways to Sunday. Okay?
Yeah.
So I'll just leave that one there. You can go look at the evidence. It's very clear what happened there. Read A Devil's Chessboard by David Talbot. Anyway, when you look at this one, they missed, right?
Yeah.
It's whatever went on, it didn't go down successfully, and there were a significant number of people on the scene who did their job and made sure that nothing else happened to him, rather than Kennedy, who was left there like a fucking open punch bowl for a good 20 seconds. So it is easy for me to see a situation where one person, and it could have been one person, and I'm not even saying they were with the Secret Service, woke up on the wrong side of the bed that day, and in the middle of the fucking 12-person chain of command suddenly thought, yeah, this wouldn't be the worst thing ever. And just maybe didn't report the next thing down. I'm not even saying it was like this grand plan or something like that. But do you understand why people at home can watch the videos we're watching, see the breakdowns at a million different levels, see the arrogance with which Kim Cheadle failed to answer questions, I should say, and sit home and wonder yeah, they tried to kill this guy.
No, I don't. Look, people are entitled to, there's obviously nowadays there's a lot of information. I don't think that's the case. I know how this stuff works, and I think people are open to their opinions. And obviously, there's a lot of video, there's a lot of information out there. And I agree, when the response is so poor, it does lend itself. It opens things up that people make their own interpretation of what happened. I'm not a conspiracy theorist by nature. But I usually think it's just human beings are the broken, they
make mistakes.
The crooked timber of humanity. We're fuck ups, right? And myself included. And people screw up and they make mistakes. I think that's more likely the case where people are fallible and fucked up here. Now, if people have theories and believe that there was something more to it, like I said, people are entitled to their beliefs. I guess it's different, when you know the people and you've worked with these people for a long time. Even when it comes to people have conspiracies about government and stuff like that. If you live in Washington long enough, you realize more things happen by fucking accident or just stupidity or incompetence than it does by some nefarious, cabal.
I think compared to the internet, you're right on that.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think that everyone makes every fucking thing the worst conspiracy ever online without evidence.
And it takes so many people.
Yes.
And to your point, yours is actually, I don't agree with it, but what you posited is more plausible. It's more plausible in these type of situations, I think, to have a small group or one or two people, because the bigger the ring, the more likely somebody's going to speak out or cover their own back or whatever. The information will come out from somebody who's involved in the conspiracy, right? So I think something is more likely. The smaller the group, the more likely it is to keep it in-house, if you will, and not let it leak out. I don't think, in this case, I don't think that's what happened. There's no excuse of how it happened. There's no excuse from the Secret Service's side to can make it okay. Obviously, everybody wishes they could go back there with hindsight and get the comms right, mitigate that situation. Like everybody else, I think that's why, and fairly, we're getting completely waylaid in the press and we're getting crushed by everybody, and we deserve it because it's just so blatantly obvious that shouldn't have happened. And that's why I think, and initially what should have happened is just come out and just own it. And you don't have to give people aren't expecting us to say, hey, we have the answers right now, but they're expecting us to at least go, if my kid fucks up, I expect him to admit it that he fucked up and he's going to fix it. Well, just because you're an adult and you're in charge of something, well, you've been taught that since you were in kindergarten. Own it and fix it. And it's awful what happened. We have to come out of this. A better agency. This has got to be a situation where now everybody's eyes are on it. And the reason why people are upset is because they did hold us to a standard, and they thought we were maintaining that standard, even with some of the mistakes we've had over the years. And when you think about it, every year, there's literally there'll be 10,000 sites done every year, right? We're talking about small, low level, president, vice president, former presidents, all those people. There's 10,000 sites a year.
That almost seems low.
Yeah, it probably is low. I mean, I'm sure like right now, if somebody in headquarters is probably listening to this going, no, that's fucking way more than that, Brandenburg.
15, you asshole.
You stupid fucking, these fucking operational guys.
You're not a good plant. Come on.
Yeah, you're not a good plant. God damn, we sent you there to fucking do it right. You're supposed to set this to memory and then eat the paper. No, so you do thousands of sites a year. We've been protecting people since 1901. One mistake is one too many. We all know that. In that time, this is going to be way up there. Obviously, you got the JFK, you got Reagan, you got incidents with Ford, and now you got the Trump situation here. And so, but once again, people don't give a shit if you do it right and it's successful and you got by there. Because what people are concerned with now is this normal? Is this what the Secret Service is doing all the time? Or they just been lucky at this point? And that's fair for the public to ask that. And it's fair for pundits to ask that. The answer, I think, is an emphatic no. This is not representative of what we do. But the fact is this happened. And we have to, like I said, I know I'm a broken record. We have to get better and improve and ensure that we maintain the public's confidence and our protectees' confidence. And that's been one nice thing is I know the Trump family has come out and verbally at least supported the Secret Service.
I think they've been classy.
They've been very good. And I know we have a good relationship with that family. And they could have been like, they could have gone on, they didn't have to do that.
They could have. I think I'm guessing, but I don't know. I'm guessing privately, they're probably upset about the communication part of it, but it's very clear that they're grateful for the people who jumped on it. Like look, the mistake, I think you said this to me on the phone when we were talking right after this happened, but you're like, once a bullet flies, it's already a failure.
Yeah, once you get on that roof with a weapon, we failed. And I said this before in previous podcasts. It's just like the Reagan thing. It's like, Reagan survived, but the minute that Hinckley pulled that weapon out,
failure.
We lost. That's an L, regardless of whether he gets hit, because the best protection is prevention, and that's what we expect to do. And that's why the public is asking us collectively, what the fuck's going on, guys? Because they know that too, and especially something as glaring as this. And there's no excuses to be made, but you've already failed once you do that, because it really is the advanced work and the planning and all that. That's where it's won and lost. Once again, the football analogy, you got to have a game plan.
That's right.
And you got to execute the game plan.
But once it got there, what I'm saying is that the Trump family saw what they did, jumping on him, and got him out of there, and they're grateful for that. And I think that's great. And you've been clear on that, and I appreciate you being clear on that, because you don't want to throw people under the bus, especially who responded to the situation correctly as well. Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.